Jai Shri Ram. Snack foods are a common indulgence across Indian homes with different namkeens, mixtures, chips, and so on, littering the shelves of many of you. However, such foods contribute to a significant number of empty calories in our diets and contribute to weight gain or difficulty in losing weight. So I wanted to share some tips on overcoming this that have solved this problem for me and hopefully will help you as well. In the past, I had tried to give up sweets, fried foods entirely, stuck with it for a number of weeks or even months, and then eventually just gave up and gave in to temptation. So just like my video on giving up sweets from earlier, I'd advise against trying to do that. Now, in that sweets video, I recommended that you create a rule for yourself where you would only eat sweets in a specific limited number of circumstances. While I do think that that would be a useful strategy to tackle snacking, it's not the most important thing that I would recommend here. With sweets, there's a different trajectory with snacks rather, there's a different trajectory that I would instead recommend. And the reason for that difference is this. There are a lot of instances where you are presented with sweets socially in celebrations and so on that would make it difficult to give them up or limit them and things like that. However, with snack foods, this is far less the case. It's a lot more common to be encountering and eating snack foods regularly when you're offered them with tea or coffee, or most importantly, when you just decide to buy or make them on your own, keep them for, however long it takes you to eat them. And so my number one piece of advice here would be to eat a little bit more food at mealtime so that you're less hungry. Sometimes we snack out of hunger, sometimes out of compulsion or habit or some blend of all of these. But if you eat a little bit more at mealtime, you'll feel less hungry and more satiated and therefore less interested in snacking. There are basically two reasons why this tends to work well with snacks. First off, snacks are salty and or spicy. They might be mild, but they aren't sweet because, of course, if they were sweet, we'd classify them as sweets as opposed to snacks. So because of the fact that they have all this salt and spice and possible mildness and, things of this nature, they have a flavor profile that's much more similar to the actual food that we eat in meals that people would be normally eating food like this in meals other than the fact that snacks tend to be crunchy. So anyway, if you can get your body to basically perceive satiation of those kinds of flavors from your meals, by eating slightly more at mealtime, you won't crave them in another form, in the form of snacking. The other reason that this tends to work well with snacking is that people tend to snack in between meals or eat snack-like appetizers just before a meal. So satiety from a meal, whether you are about to eat it or whether you have just eaten it, can really help stave off this desire to eat snacks or fried foods. Neither of these reasons really apply to sweets, however, since they, again, have a different flavor profile from the food that we eat at mealtime, and because people often eat sweets as a dessert after they have already eaten a meal. So another recommendation that I would make when it comes to snacks is to have some kind of pickle or chutney powder with your meals that will give you that kind of deeply flavorful kick that snacks may often provide. Again, obviously there are some snacks that are kind of mild that I mentioned before. This would be for the more flavorful ones. Personally, for me, when I ate snacks regularly, some of my favorites were spicy cashews, spicy peanuts, and spicy flavors of potato chips. And so eating pickle or chutney powder did help me feel like I wasn't really missing out on that spicy, flavorful kick because I was getting it at mealtime. Or more at mealtime. But it's not just the flavor of snack foods that we tend to crave, it's also the texture of eating crispy, crunchy food that we also tend to crave. And so I'd make another recommendation along the same lines as the previous one, which is that you should try to find healthier alternatives to satisfy your desire to eat crispy, crunchy foods. For example, instead of eating salted, roasted, spice-laden peanuts, cashews, chana, or peas, try eating raw almonds, walnuts, or pumpkin seeds to satisfy yourself. Not only are they a healthier option, but because of the fact that they don't have flavorings added to them, they don't have the kind of addictive kind of a quality that you get from normal namkeens. just remember to soak the almonds beforehand for basic digestive issues. I like to soak almonds overnight. I don't really know how many hours it's necessary to do it, but I happen to do it overnight. Another recommendation would be eating some cucumbers and or carrots or some other kind of crunchy, watery vegetable as a snack as well, because they have a crunchy texture, and as you bite into them, they're very refreshing on a hot day since they contain so much water and because you've kept them in your fridge before you've eaten them. In the summertime, if I have to go out driving and be out in the heat, I like to just take a cucumber right out of the fridge, cut the ends and the wrapper off, and as I drive to my destination, I'll just be eating it, which helps keep me cool and avoid, sweating and all of that. These tips that I've shared with you all have helped me immensely with avoiding unnecessary and unhealthy snacking, so I'm speaking from experience. I used to eat a lot of banana chips, potato chips, spicy or salted nuts, and things of this nature, and they were a big contributor to both weight gain and making it more difficult to lose weight when I was trying to lose it. However, with these strategies and others, some of which I mentioned in the sweets video, as well as making a rule not to buy or prepare snacks like I had mentioned in the other video, I was able to overcome that health obstacle in my life, and I sincerely hope that you are able to overcome this as well. Now, as I said in the sweets video, and whenever I talk about health or these kinds of changes, I do plan on making a couple more videos on this topic. The number one theme that you should always keep in mind is basically two things. One, you want to make gradual changes in your routine. You don't want to try to radically change literally everything about your diet and exercise regimen all at once, because you want to slowly work these things into your routine. Secondly, you want to make things basically as easy as you possibly can. Now, you always hear people that lose a lot of weight or people that are trying to sell you on some kind of, plan or regimen or whatever, that it's so important to be disciplined and have all this willpower and you need to just stick it out, so on and so forth. Those are all kind of mental resources that you have to really expend in order to do that. And so when you're stressed or tired or in a bad mood or you just don't feel like it, it's going to be difficult to keep that going. And that's something that I did experience when I was younger. Again, like I may have mentioned in previous videos, I used to basically do yo-yo dieting. Like I used to be fat. Then when I was 18, I lost the weight, or 17, 18, I lost the weight. Then from that age until I was about 27, I just yo-yo dieted. I would gain some weight, then think, oh my God, I need to lose weight. Use all this, willpower and discipline and stuff like that to lose the weight. Then I would start to feel good about myself and that I've accomplished something based on, looking in the mirror, looking on the scale, and also people telling me that I've lost weight. And then, I felt like I had license to eat all of this crap that gave me this whole problem in the first place. And so making small gradual changes one by one that you can get used to will really make it something that lasts for, an indeterminate amount of time, really indefinitely. And it's easy to do because when I look at my routines now, if I was to just take my routine as basically a whole and compare it to how I was living, some time ago, I would think, oh my God, how would I have possibly managed to do all of these things so effortlessly all at once? It would just seem so shocking to me. But because of the fact that I incorporated the strategies that I talked about in this video, the sweets video, even the cold showers video, and basically made these things one by one gradually a part of my routine, it's very manageable and easy. And that's what you really want to do. You want to have a relationship with food where just eating your normal kind of diet that you're used to becomes something that makes you healthy and have the energy levels that you want, and of course have the kind of physique and weight and stuff like that you want. So I hope that you guys are all able to benefit from this if you are overweight or trying to lose weight. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Jai Shri Ram.